All right, shalom, y'all. Shalom, Shabbat shalom. No music, no intro, no nothing. We're getting straight to the point, straight to business, man. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Why I was shot. It's your brother, Math IQAhmath, first name. IQ is all the same. Blessings and peace to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. scattered abroad. Blessed seventh day of rest, man. To everybody's in the house, man. Hopefully, everybody's doing well, man, and enjoying your Shabbat. If I'm coming in clear, do me a favor. Throw that seven in the chat. Throw that seven in the chat. Let me know we're complete. Let's do that. Let's do that. While I'm doing that, salute to the House of Byron, man. Shalom to y'all and your continued support. The House of Bayan, shalom to y'all and your continued support. The House in the Quad, shalom to y'all and your continued support. A good brother, dedicated Kohath, shalom to you, my brother. Jason May, Shabbat shalom to you. Ashar, shalom to you, right? And your continued support. And Shalak, Yara, Naamawai, Shaq in the household. Shalom to y'all. Shabbat shalom. Good to see y'all. Sister Rosemarie out there in London. Shalom to you. There go my brother Aladad in the house. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Who else we got now? Okay, everybody sevening it up. Okay. Zakar Tazadak, Shabbat shalom to you. Brother Jackson out there. What's up, Ak? Shalom. Look like we rolling. We rolling. All right. Anybody else is going to be joining in as the time progresses, shalom to you. Anybody that's going to be catching this on your free time, maybe later in the day, tomorrow, Monday, who knows when, shalom to you. All right. Either way it goes, man, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to get to, man. The fabrics are starting to really come untwined here in America. And here we go. The men of Israel and the prophets of the Lord are being found right more and more often than not as time progresses. All right. So we're seeing a lot going on, man. North Korea and Russia are announcing their alliance and they're claiming that they're going to start the New World Order. Remember, some of y'all may remember, some of y'all might not. Some of y'all aren't privy to, uh, weren't privy to those terms when they really started becoming popular in the early 90s, mid 90s. That's at least when I first started becoming familiar with the term New World Order. Um, Early 2000s. You know, at that time, man, they were saying, "Oh, it's a conspiracy theory. There's no private cabal of people trying to run the world, trying to establish a one world government, one world religion, one world payment system. Oh, that's all fallacies, man. You guys are crazy that's talking about that, right? These are all things that were being perpetuated, like I'm off. Things that were being selected. Yeah. These are things that were being perpetuated by the public, man. They was already, in the 50s, man, the CIA actually came up with the term conspiracy theorist. And it was weaponized against anybody that spoke against the government, anybody that questioned authority, anybody that questioned particular narratives that was put out by the Mockingbird media. And now it's becoming more apparent that that's real. Oh, a new world order. Now all of a sudden that's being spoken about on public platforms, mainstream news. Everybody's using like from presidents, so forth and so on. We're gonna see in a minute. All that is real now, huh? Very interesting. Very interesting. So, New World Order is being talked about amongst Moab and Esau in the Far East. You got Texas on the brink of flirting with rebellion and civil war over the border. Um, a cashless society is being announced. Oh, another form of the New World Order that's being announced now. Many businesses are now turning over and saying they're not dealing with cash anymore. You dig what I'm saying? So there's a lot going on that we got to consider. You got this coon, blonde toupee wearing woman, Joy Reid, on MSNBC defending and standing up for um, books that deal with the agenda of pushing the LGBTQ plus HIV agenda. And this white woman, man, on there for moms for whatever her little organization, she was cutting the hell out of Joy Reid, as she should. standing up talking about defending books that push a particular agenda, and you know what I'm talking about. So I got to be careful when we tiptoeing around these particular subjects, man. But if I'm tiptoeing, I'm stomping at the same time. All right, so we ain't gonna cower too much down to what's going on, man. But for the most part, man, let's get to the business at hand. Waltizi, the Hebrew, shalom to you, my brother. All is well. Prayerfully, everything's the same with you, brother. Will, shalom to you. And oh, there go Carlos in the house. Shalom to you, Ike. But let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. It'd be nice if I shared, huh? I seen something on here that I need to. Oh, you see that right there? Feet wiped, huh? And I like the red footprints. Even ASR, we gotta get on that Isaiah 63 t-shirt with the red footprints of Yahweh Shai. Um feet marks like he walked through the wine press stomping out the Edomites. We might have to get that t-shirt rolling, man. I'm gonna get with you on that. Oh, see, I let it out, man. Somebody gonna steal that. Somebody gonna steal that, man, and run crazy with it, man. My bad. We gotta get on it though. Uh, but wipe them feet though. Let's get to it. Let me share my screen, and we're gonna get busy. Let me turn this up. All right, so here we go. Now look at the titling and what they say on here. Now all of a sudden, the mainstream media is talking about a new world order is evil. But when we was talking about it, and other people were talking about it, even the evangelical Edomites was running around talking about the new world order. Really, they were the ones who really made it public, made it more public. Guys like William Cooper. I forgot the Edomite man that made what's that dude's name? He made a video called Millennium 2000. This is back when uh, VHS tapes was being used. I'm dating myself, but so what? Don't act like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. VHS tape. This is how I knew I was in a time warp, man. I remember this is when they had Blockbuster Video, and I was in the video store going to rent a video, right? And a little girl came up to the counter and she asked for a particular movie. I don't remember what the movie was. And the guy at the Blockbuster Video was like, "Oh, we don't have that on DVD." No. She asked for the particular movie. He said, "Yeah, it's over there with the VHS." And she looked lost. She like, "What? Huh? VHS?" He's like, "VHS videotape." She was like, "I only know DVD. What's VHS?" I said, "Oh my goodness, times have changed." That's for those that remember back in the day. I grew up in the era of cassette tapes. Vinyl was just getting just on the edge. People still have, my moms and family members, they still had, the turntables and all that, but still playing vinyl at home. But that was kind of fading out. 8 tracks, that was good. That was fading out. I remember seeing 8 tracks as a little kid in the car, but they was fading out. Here comes the cassette tapes. Why did I go into all of that? uh, don't ask me, man. Your brother be going on certain rants, man. But anyway, back in those particular days, dealing with the terminologies of New World Order and stuff like that, man. You was considered a crackpot, man. You can't talk about. Uh, you couldn't talk about the New World Order. Anybody talking about it being Anthony? See, it just popped in my head. Anthony something was an Edomite that made this documentary called Millennium 2000. That's what I was talking about. And it was on VHS. And I remember that thing floating around the hood and amongst, not even in the hood, because I was in the truth at the time when I first saw it. That's one thing that really locked me in even more. I seen the tape maybe around 95. Um, and if anybody can locate that, uh, it might be on, somebody might have uploaded it on YouTube at the time. Some of the information on there might be dated or might not be on point, but at the time, It was on point, and it was definitely a shocker to see the inner workings of what was going on under the Satanic administration, right? So Millennium 2000 was a VHS was a documentary on VHS tapes that was talking about the New World Order, and like I said, I seen it in '95. So that goes to show you how far back the terminology of a New World Order and all of that even went before that. You know that book, Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper, that came out in like '92. I didn't get hip to that until like '95 when I came into the truth, really full fledged in the truth. I learned about the truth in '94. I didn't join the camp and really, put my work in until '95. So I don't consider myself really in the quote unquote truth until 1995. But '94, I knew about it. I was studying, I was doing my thing, but I had one foot in, one foot out. I was lukewarm. And that's when brothers hit me, was like, hey man, Revelation 3, I said you can't be hot, be cold, but don't be lukewarm that you get spewed out. You can't play both sides of the fence. And many of y'all know that struggle coming into the truth. But that was my thing where I said, well, you know what? If I'm going in, I'm going all in. 10 toes down, I'm jumping feet first, head first, however, but I'm in. Let's go. And that's when I really locked in at '95. So nonetheless, so your brother's going on 29 years now. I was a young little punk off the street, man, trying to figure things out. And all praise to the Most High, I'm still riding. Anthony Hilda, yeah, that's him. There you go, Bayan. There you go. Yeah, he was trailblazing with some of his documentaries, information he was putting out there. But Millennium 2000 was one of them. But anyway, let's look at the real topic at hand, because here we go all the way back then, 29, 30, 40 years ago, and even longer than that. This terminology is being used, and here we are in 2024, and they're still pushing this particular agenda. Now, notice this ideology ain't really new. I mean, they was trying to do this all the way back during the times of Nimrod. Wasn't Nimrod trying to make everybody of one speech, one language, wanted everybody under the banner of the Babylonians and the Kushite Empire? And the Most High shut that down, divided the nation, separated the languages, separated land masses, and so forth and so on. See, that wasn't going down. The Greeks tried to come up under the same banner. Remember Antiochus or Antiochus, however you prefer to pronounce his name? In First Maccabees 141, he said that all the people would. He put out the decree that all were to be one people, and to leave off their religion and their laws. And so many of the heathen already, complied, and many of the Israelites also went along with the program. And what happened? The Most High split that up with the Greco-Roman dispute, and the Romans coming in and stopping that. So the end all be all, look, the Most High ain't gonna have this go down, even though it's in the thoughts of the so-called white man. He wants to establish a particular order to establish continued rule on this earth. So let's look at this. Axis of evil. Kim Jong-un and Putin vow to form a new world order in chilling warning to the West as tyrants ramp up united front against the U.S. Okay, so here they are talking about that this is a tyrannical form of government and form of rule, a draconian established order that they're trying to put into effect that's going to be headed up by Moab and Esau, right? And Moab ain't taking the lead, because Moab always cowers down to Esau, man. You look at any of these videos, man, about Korean culture, Japanese culture, they praise the so-called white man. I just seen a short video the other day where it was a Korean comedian, and she was talking about how Koreans are racist against dark-skinned people. They think they and just the lower class, period. Anybody that they consider dark or whatever the case may be, they consider lowly, uncivilized, so forth and so on. And she said, but white people, they love white people. White people is like they gods. That's why when you see on Korean TV and movies and all that, all of the actors and actresses are light, or they look like they've been, had a little swirl put in them, because they praise the so-called white man. They love they damn white zaddy. But here we see they're coming together, right? So it says North Korea said it has agreed to further strategic and tactical cooperation with Russia as both countries ramp up a united front against the United States. Remember Kim Jong-un last year, I pulled out the article where he said that he was going to vow his allegiance to Putin. Y'all remember that? So he's not leading the charge. China's not leading the charge. Putin is the face of the franchise. But because he's enthralled with a war and they're out here, slandering his name, China maintains the momentum. North Korea maintains the momentum. But Kim Jong-un already said, man, he's going to kiss the boots of Putin. And here they go. The North Korean Foreign Ministry said in a statement that the two countries agreed to further strategic and tactical cooperation to defend their core interests and establish, quote, a new multi-polarized international order. Imagine that. But guess what you know what? Hold on. I'm talking about a damn new order. Oops. Let me see it. Psalms 140. Psalm 140 and 11. It says, let not an evil speaker be established in the earth. Notice if you see here, this is why I said the Most High is not going to have none of this go down. It can be put in his heart and his mind. He's going to think, this is what he thinks he's going to be able to do and establish a new world order to continue on rule throughout the earth and all that other stuff, man. That's out of here. Remember, 2 Ezra 6 and 9, the Most High said, Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Now, notice it said, let not an evil speaker be established in the earth. Well, what did they call this? The axis of evil. This is evil speak, talking about how they're going to establish a new world order. The Most High said, no, let not an evil speaker be established in the earth. They're not going to establish a damn thing. They're going to push an agenda. They're going to push it all the way to the brink. That's where Jacob's trouble comes into play. That's where the true affliction is going to come into play. That's when the trying and the trials of one's faith is really going to come into play. We see all of those things playing out from 2 Ezra 15, 16. We see it in Revelation 6. We see it in Revelation 17, 18. I mean, we know tribulation is coming. There's not going to be some pre-tribulation rapture like the Christians like to believe. When all hell breaks loose and all of a sudden all the people are just disappearing off of planes, disappearing off of the job, disappearing out of restaurants, and nobody knows where they're at, and people are left behind trying to figure out what's going on as all hell breaks loose and wars on the earth. That ain't how the scriptures play out at all. That's why Yahweh said, he that endureth until the end, the same shall be saved. What are we talking about? Well, everything's going to go down and whoop, I'm going to get beamed up. I'm out of here. No. We're going to see and witness tribulation. That's what's going to be the trials of our faith. That's what's going to actually establish and solidifying the elect who the Most High is going to choose to endure through this thing. What are we talking about? So the Most High said, let not an evil speaker be established in the earth. Evil shall hunt the violent man to overthrow him. So the Most High is going to send forth evil. The Most High even said in Proverbs 16 and 4, it says, the Most High created all things, yea, even the evil for the day, even the wicked for the day of evil. The Most High is going to make all these things come upon himself. Everything that the so-called white man and his cohorts, the rest of the heathen that are proposing to do in their minds, it's all going to come back full circle on them. There's not going to be some reestablished new world. They've been trying it. Like I said, they didn't try it since Nimrod. They didn't try it since the Greeks. They've been trying it with the Romans, and they'll have short stints in which they'll have the earth in subjection and everybody doing what they want. But you're still going to always notice, even throughout those kingdoms, you still had separate pockets of people, even within the children of Israel during Greek rule. You still had the Maccabean family, Hasmonean dynasty that was still building up and having their stuff. Everybody didn't go along with the program, so there's never going to be a complete consolidation where everybody's doing what the so-called white man wants under a new world order. He's going to establish the framework. He's going to try to put it all into effect. He's going to actually get some of these things implemented, and that's where the hell is going to be coming from. But it's never going to come to full fruition. Let's look at the history. We ain't looked at this in a hot minute, but just looking at Moab, Ammon, and Esau. Why we always see them together? Let's look at that again. We ain't looked at this in a hot second. Judith 7:1. It said, the next day Holofernes commanded all his army and all his people, which were come to take his part, that they should remove their camp against Bethulia, to take aforehand the ascents of the hill country, and to make war against the children of Israel. So Holofernes, who's the head of the Assyrian armies, right, was establishing war, that he was going to make war with the children of Israel. Now, jumping down, who also came along with him? Verse 8. Then came unto him all the chief of the children of Esau, and all the governors of all the people of Moab, and the captains of the seacoast, and said, let our Lord now hear a word, that there be not an overthrow in thine army. So here we see, even under Assyrian rule, Esau was under subjection to the Assyrians. Esau did not get power and be a world power and dominant ruler until 333 BC under Alexander the Freak. So even he was subject to other nations. But who comes right along with him? The governors of Moab, trailing right behind White Zaddy, right? Let our Lord now hear a word, that there be not an overthrow in thine army. For this people of the children of Israel do not trust in their spears. So here they are, knowing the research, knowing the knowledge about the children of Israel, man. That's why Esau studies us and knows us so well. Moab studies us and knows us so well. We talked about all the different types of analogies that we can put together when it comes down to Moab in particular, how they study us. Moab can't speak a lick of English, man, but let Wu-Tang Clan, let Ice Cube, let Snoop Dogg, let Jay-Z, let some of these big artists, Kanye, let them go over there and perform concerts in front of thousands and thousands of damn Moabites, man. They'll speak English when it comes down to them rap songs, because they study and they watch and they know. I seen a video, man, of this damn Moabite. I should have clipped it. Moabite, man, going through a procedure to kink his hair up. To kink his hair up, man. I remember years ago, I was in the airport. It's either, I think it was in Chicago airport, and I seen, it was like a tourist group of Moabites, or they could have been Ammonites. Either one. Who gives a damn, right? Few of them had dreads, and I asked the dude. I said, man, how do you get your hair like that? He spoke broken English, man. I said, how much? At the time, I think he said it was like $300 for them to, get their hair dreaded. And I said, oh, that's popular. Like, y'all like that? They was like, yeah, we think it's cool. It's cool. What you call it? It's cool. I was tripping. Now, this was probably what year was that? This was probably late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around there. When I was in the airport in Chicago, and that was the first time I seen some damn Moabites with dreads. And I remember asking him, like, how the hell, what? And he said they paid around $300, $400 for it. At that time, that was a lot of money. Nowadays, I mean, sisters getting lace fronts for $2,000 and whatever else. I mean, the cats making money cutting hair is wild. But back then, paying $300 some odd dollars was a lot of money for somebody to do your hair. I seen a video there, Moabite, like I said, he had a whole procedure, man. They did something, put all kind of grease and chemical and twisted up his hair, and when they let it go, they gave him a little fade, and the top of his hair, he had a damn he had a curly well, he had a little afro, but they used a little brush that made the little curls and whatnot on the top, trying to be like a damn Jake. You got so-called white men. The term in the 90s was wiggers. But they love the culture. They love the food. They love the language. You see, I seen videos, man, of these Edomite girls looking like they was at prom, rapping the most vile, lyrics to trap rap. I mean, drill rappers out of Chicago. Let alone forget all of that. We're just talking about the spirit of the people. The so-called white man knows that we're drawn to the Bible, knows about our spiritual connection with the Most High. But what's he do? He gives us religion. He throws out his army of money grubbing preachers, man, that come up out of these seminary schools and come out of these Bible colleges that learn after his ways of religion, a slave doctrine, goes in there and says, man, they love that, give them that. Or they love sports, give them that. You know, Moab come over here fresh off the fishbowl, man, gets the loan, sets up shop in our neighborhoods, from the liquor stores to the swap meets to the nail shops to the hair shops and all that. They know. They know, right? So going all the way back to the times of the Assyrian Empire, here they are giving a full report again, because in the 5th chapter, the Ammonite, what's the Ammonite's name? Achior, he gave the same type of report. So not only Ammon knows about Jake, Moab, Esau, and they all go reporting to the Assyrians. So here we go. For this people of the children of Israel do not trust in their spirits, but in the height of the mountains wherein they dwell, because it is not easy to come up to the top of the mountains. So they're giving the strategic battle plans of how the children of Israel were defending themselves. Drop it down, it says, so the camp of the children of Ammon departed, and with them 5,000 of the Assyrians, and they pitched in the valley and took the waters and the fountains of the waters of the children of Israel. Then the children of Esau went up with the children of Ammon and camped in the hill country over against Dotham, and they sent some of them toward the south and toward the east over against Equabel, which is near unto Chusi, that is upon the brook Machmur, and the rest of the army of the Assyrians camped in the plain and covered the face of the whole land, and their tents and carriages were pitched to a very great multitude. So here we see the access of evil, really, children of Esau, Ammon, Moab, all together, always constantly plotting, always together when it comes down to doing their dirt, coming against the children of Israel. Are we surprised that we see them here in let's look at it, Ezekiel. Are we surprised that we see them here in national headlines being called to access to evil, talking about how they're going to establish a new world order? Or should we be surprised at who the players are in the game? No, they've always been together all this time. We've read in 2 Ezra 16 about, oh thou Asia, thou wretch, because they like to be in the hope of Babylon, and are made in her person, want to be a hoe just like her. Remember that? Ezekiel 25, and let's read 8. It says, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, because that Moab and Seir, Mount Seir, that's Esau, do say, behold, the house of Judah is like unto all the heathen. Therefore, behold, I will open the side of Moab from his cities, which are on his frontiers, the glory of the country, Beth Jeshemoth, Baal Meon, and Kiriathaim, unto the men of the east with the Ammonites, and will give them in possession, that the Ammonites may not be remembered among the nations. So the Most High is going to establish judgment amongst Moab, Mount Seir, the Ammonites, right? Look at it. And I will execute judgments upon Moab, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, because the Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. See, this is why, when it comes down to even people wondering, well, why, if the children of Israel sinned against the Most High and they were put in the curses, isn't it their fault? Why is the so-called white man got to be blamed? Listen, the so-called white man went well above and beyond the call of duty when it came down to executing the curses. He lived by the sword. He lived by the vow that he said once that Isaac passed away, that he was going to take vengeance and slay his brother Jacob. He utilized and took advantage of the situation. Notice it, he took vengeance. I thought vengeance was of the Lord. He greatly offended and revenged himself upon the children of Israel. As the scriptures say, and I believe it's in Zechariah, that he said he helped forward the affliction. So Esau went well above and beyond what he was supposed to do, and started making things even more personal. So here we see them talking about this new world order, right? Now they're calling them the axis of evil, Kim Jong-un and Putin, right? What happens? What happened with this guy? What do we call it when he says it?
We are at an inflection point, I believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations.
What do we call it? Is it
Not just the
still
world
evil when Slow Biden says it? Is it still evil? Slow Biden talks about New World Order and Business Roundtable.
Occurs every 3 or 4 generations. As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is the time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. We've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So anyway,
so he said it's going to be a new world order, and we have to lead it. See, it's a fight for power regarding who's going to, quote unquote, take the helm of the new world order. Will it be the East? Will it be the West? That's where Esau gets into conflict. Even going back to the Greco-Roman Empire, even though that both Edomite factions, Esau is so bloodlust for power, he will battle and fight amongst himself to be the man. You understand what I'm saying? So this ain't new. We know even George Bush said it. I'm gonna play that clip. Fair use. This is being used under fair use. Let me go ahead and run that banner down. So I don't need no problems. Under Section 107 of the 1976 Fair Use Act, I'm utilizing this clip for fair use, man. This is my commentary in regards to comments made. Comments made within this video. All right. So fall back YouTube. I'm using this under fair use.
Governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be.
When we are successful, and we will be. This is back during the I believe the Gulf War. Now notice, Bush sits up here and he's going to talk about how they're going to have a chance to, have a new idea, a new order, and they're going to establish peace in the earth and all that. They ain't laid up off of Ishmael since. You talking about the Gulf War, the Iraq War, Afghanistan? They've been riding on Ishmael since the early 90s. And here they are talking about, and once we were successful, and we will be, he's prophesying.
I'm hopeful that this fighting will not go on for long and that casualties will be held to an absolute minimum. This is an historic moment. We have in this past year made great progress in ending the long era of conflict and Cold War. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
Is it an axis? Is it still evil when he says it? When it comes out of the mouth of the presidents of America? When the so-called, is it still an axis of evil? I wonder. See, this is the fork-tongued nature of the so-called white man. Unbelievable.
A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
See, not the law of the jungle. That's a shot to all the rest of the nations saying that they're inferior, they're heathens, they're all animals. See, only order can come from the so-called white man. You understand that? We're not gonna rule by the law of the jungle. Like these little brown niggas out there and sand niggas, and no, we're not doing that. It's only gonna come through us.
Law of the jungle governs the conduct of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
So, again, this ain't new. We've seen and heard this rhetoric before, but now it's being called evil out of the press. Who are we to believe now? See, this is why, hold on. This is why we got to look in and pay attention to what this damn white man's up to. Psalm 12:2 says, they speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor. See, even talking about, well, when we're successful, and we will be, and we've got a great opportunity, that they ain't the first ones. Obama done said it. Slow Biden done said it. I think Trump done said it. Obviously, George Bush, baby Bush, they've all been saying it. Now you're hearing it from the other side of the earth. They're saying it. They're all speaking vanity, everyone with their neighbor. They're all saying that we're going to be able to establish a new world that's going to be able to be ruled and governed by us continuously. See, the Most High even says they in their hearts mind, they think that their houses will have no end. That's in what's it, Psalm 46? I think that's 46:11. I'm gonna check that in a second. But it says they speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor, with flattering lips and with a double heart that they speak. So here they are. They 1 minute they're saying, hey, well, those guys are talking about new world order. That's evil. Meanwhile, behind closed door, they're saying we're going to establish a new world order. See, that's double heart, double speak, double tongue, forked tongue, slithering slake nature of deception that comes from this. See, verse 3, the Most High Yahweh shall cut off all flattering lips and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Remember, there's over 12, I think it's at least 12 countries that's going through elections this year. So there's going to be a whole lot of double speak, whole lot of lies, whole lot of deception, whole lot of promises being made, whole lot of posturing for world governance. You understand what I'm saying? And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Why does it 46? Let me see. That wasn't it. 49 and 11. I'm saying 46. 49. It says the inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. That's the mentality of the so-called white man. He thinks he's going to rule forever. But we know he's going to have an end. Thus saith the Lord. The walls, the writing is on the walls. Like I said from the beginning, the fabric is starting to unravel on the damn flag. This thing is being more, America's being more and more exposed as being more open to an end and a change of regime than ever. I mean, look at the presidential race, man. I mean, who's really a candidate? They got Trump at the forefront, but they just slapped them upside the head with an $83 million settlement from some woman that claimed that cried rape. Who knows how many years ago? So how you gonna have a president, man, that's got a pending $83 million judgment on him? You know, when that's all planned, they trying to break him and get him up out of there. Who's gonna be the Democrat? Slow Biden? You gonna give him another 4 years? I mean, the future is bleak. Economically, internally, from moral standpoints. You see what's going on at the border? This place is completely collapsing. Different ideologies, man. A man can't tell what's, but he unzips his pants. He don't know what he is anymore. Woman lifts up her shirt. She don't know what she is anymore. I mean, this place is completely over with. But their inward thought is their house is going to continue forever. They say nothing's wrong. Everything's great. Happy days are here again. And their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. That's the pedigree of the so-called white man. He thinks he's going to continue on with his madness. Most High going to put an end to all of this. Sirach 5:9 says, winnow not at every wind and go not into every way. So that's wisdom for us to saying, don't fall for everything, in other words, and don't get involved in every other way. Be firm in what you believe in. Stand 10 toes down on it, and completely invest in your faith, in your wisdom, your knowledge, your fear of the Most High, so forth and so on. You can't be caught up in looking over here, looking over there, looking over your neighbor's yard. What are they up to? Trying to see if you want to get involved in what they're having. No. For so doth the sinner that hath a double tongue. So here we're seeing the double tongue of the so-called white man. You understand? For super sad cat, let me give you this one precept and I'm gonna continue on. There's many more that I can go to, but I don't want to get too deterred. Proverbs 16:4 says, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So the Lord is to be the one who could be looked at. If you're considering something evil, blame the Lord, not Satan. All right. It's not Satan. The Most High is in control of everything. I'm gonna give you one more precept. Job 1. Job 1, 6 and 7. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it. So here's a council that's being brought together. The sons of the Most High, meaning the angels and the host of heaven, are coming to the Most High. Satan is with them, and the Most High is questioning Satan, saying, where are you? What have you been up to? Give me your report. Satan works for the Most High. There's not a struggle. There's not a battle. He works for the Lord. So he came and checked in with the head, our Father, Yahweh. Verse 8, and the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and evil, a perfect and upright man that feareth the Most High and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, doth Job fear God for naught? So here he is, he's checking in. He's asking him, has he considered a servant Job? He's saying Job is a solid man. He fears me. He's upright. And he eschews evil. He stays away from anything that's evil. Satan said, well, you know what? Do you think he's fearing you for nothing? Or do you want me to go tempt him and see whether or not he's going to be loyal to you all the way sticking through? And if we continue on down, you see the story and the history behind Job. The Most High gave Satan the authority to afflict Job and to test and try his patience and his faith to see whether or not he truly feared the Most High in sincerity and truth. He told him he can do anything he wants, but not to kill him. So Satan is the one that is working for the Most High. He's not responsible for evil. The Most High is. All right. So I'm gonna just leave you those two precepts. I want to get back on topic, but just to answer that question. There's many more, but just to answer that real quick. All right. So getting back to Sirach 5, I believe I finished that, but let me get back one more time. So it says, winnow not at every wind and go not into every way. So the Most High has given us very clear instructions when it comes down to how we're supposed to stay firm and stay laser focused on our beliefs and what we're supposed to be involving ourselves with, meaning the law, statutes, and commandments. It says, for so doth the sinner that hath a double tongue. So the sinner, the one who's double-minded, the one who's going to speak one thing and do the opposite, or tell you two different stories, or be double-minded, being unstable. The Most High said, this is the things that they do. This is the essence of a politician. And it's why we see all these particular politicians out there giving false promises, giving lies, telling everybody what they want to hear. And then when things don't come to pass, you see everybody flipping their script. Just like we see now with I've been hearing about these interviews and storylines that's coming out from Charlemagne, the guy from Power 105, I believe, the radio station. And he was the one that was out there campaigning and having Slow Biden on his platform and interviewing him. And that's the same viral moment when Slow Biden said that if you don't vote for me and you vote for Trump, then you ain't black. And no pushback from Charlemagne. Charlemagne did not check this so-called white man for trying to establish what qualifies as being black or not. Didn't stand up to him. Let him go on to say that. Now he's running around talking about how nobody really wanted Slow Biden. It was basically, we didn't have no other choice, and he's done a bad presidency. Now all of a sudden he's flipping the script. Now all of a sudden, he knew all along Slow Biden wasn't good. Oh, he's not cognitively right. He needs to go ahead on and bow out. Now you want to talk about that? It's a little too late for that. A little too late. All right. So Sirach 49. Starting at 1, it says, the remembrance of Josiah is like the composition of the perfume that is made by the art of the apothecary. It is sweet as honey in all mouths and as music at a banquet of wine. So Josiah was a king, righteous king that established order back into the house of Israel after, the kingdom of Judah had fell astray. So Josiah comes in, he starts establishing order back into the kingdom of Israel. Verse 2, it says, he behaved himself uprightly in the conversion of the people and took away the abominations of iniquity. He directed his heart unto the Lord, and in the time of the ungodly, he established the worship of God. Verse 4, all except David and Ezekiel and Josiah's were defective, meaning all the other kings all had issues, problems, went astray from the Most High, led the people down the wrong paths, except for them. It says, for they forsook the law of the Most High, even the kings of Judah failed. Therefore, he gave their power unto others and their glory to a strange nation. See, this is what ends up happening when you see these nations run around here talking about how they want to establish new world orders. They want to have their houses be continuing forever. The earth being given into the hand of the wicked. You know, now the so-called white man, he's spoiled rotten. He feels as though he's going to be ruling and running this earth in complete chaos for the rest of his time being on the earth. You know, when you're dealing with manifest destiny and you're dealing with these particular ideologies, that the white man believes that he was destined to rule. It was his place in the earth. He was born to establish governance and rule over the world. That's his rightful position. When you start believing these things, then that's when the vanity kicks in. He believes that he can do no wrong. But the Most High is going to dethrone him. See, because we failed, the Most High gave our power unto others and our glory to a strange nation. So now we're seeing why these other nations are out here ruling. Let me get that in a second, Ezra 7. And yeah, let's start at verse 6. It says, there is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. So, John 14:2, even Yahushua said he goes to a place for us in his house, in his father's house, there's many mansions, talking about the kingdom. City being built, city of truth, New Jerusalem, so forth and so on, right? Full of all good things. It says the entrances thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there was a fire on the right hand and on the left deep water. So in order to get to this kingdom, just like in Matthew 7:13, Yahushua said, wide is the gate that leadeth to destruction, narrow is the path to lead to life, and few there be that findeth it. Few there be that findeth it, right? Now it said this same narrow path, on the right hand is fire, on the left hand is water. What are those two things symbolic of? Destruction. How was the earth destroyed in the beginning? Under the times of Noah, water, right? Now on the right hand, the next judgment, the Most High said, via the covenant that he made with the earth, and this is the reason why we had the rainbow, not to establish some damn LGBTQ plus HIV movement, which they hijacked. The Most High said that he was not going to destroy the earth via water anymore, but by fire. So the Most High even said in Isaiah 66 that he was going to destroy all the sinners with fire. It said that the Most High is going to purge the earth with fervent heat. So this is the establishment of end time judgments. So in order to escape those judgments, you got to stay on the straight and narrow path. Verse 8, it says, in one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could be one man to go there at once. So it's that difficult to stay on this particular path, one at a time, narrowly squeezing through to make it out of here. Verse 9, it says, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? And I said, it is so, Lord, that said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. So when it all comes down to it, we're talking about this is all based upon the portion that was given to the children of Israel. The kingdom is going to be blessed unto the children of Israel. That's our portion. But watch this. Because for their sakes I made the world. So the Most High is clear. He says that the world was made for our sakes. The world is our turf, as they say. But it's been given into the hands of the wicked. We just got through seeing why. Because of transgression, the Most High said, I'm taking this and I'm giving it to a strange nation. Your glory, I'm giving it to them. They're going to have the opportunity to rule what I made for you. And you're going to be jealous of them. Deuteronomy 32 tells, hey, I'm going to provoke you to jealousy with a no people. He's going to provoke us to anger and jealousy with a no people. So when we sit back and we constantly are gritting our teeth, man, and sucking our teeth and, you know, looking at the rule and what's going on, man, you see these heathen nations, man, out here doing everything of their heart's desire. And we sit back saying, man, these damn heathens, look at this. We know that that's our rightful place. So it says, and when Adam transgressed my statute, then was decreed that now is done. So we see what ends up happening. All right. But he's running around thinking, hey, I've got this, locked down. So is it hypocritical that we see? They call it evil when they say it, but here we hear Slow Biden say it, George Bush say it, all of them claiming they're going to have a new world order. But let's continue.
We are.
All right. Continuing on with the essences of the rumors of wars, which we've been talking about for a long time now, but it's even being more narrowed down based upon the 2024 establishment of NATO and their big war exercise that they had. 90,000 troops, man, preparing for what? What are they worried about? Well, you guessed it. Look, countdown to conflict with Putin. Norway's defense chief becomes latest military figure to warn Europe, has 3 years to prepare for war with Russia. How many times? What we see last week? Last week we heard what? 20 years. Britain is saying, between 5 and 7. Now Norway saying 3 years. This is the misdirection. This is the, not to cause panic. But some of them are coming out and say that 20. No, I don't see it. 5, 7. No. 3 years is what they're predicting. You understand? Eric Christopherson said NATO countries have 2, maybe 3 years to prepare. He warned that Russia has ramped up its military supplies faster than expected with help from Iran and North Korea, and that Europe must be ready. Let me let him speak on it. This is what they're talking about. Now, this is NATO. They put out the public record saying, we got to be ready for war within the next 20 years. But why are members of NATO nations saying, actually, no, it's 2 to 3? Look at this. Some of y'all may have seen it. If you didn't.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the Military Committee Chiefs of Defense session has just drawn to a close. We will start off this press conference with an opening statement.
We today announced the kickoff of Exercise Steadfast Defender 2024, which commences next week and runs through May.
Steadfast Defender, that was the largest military exercise held by NATO in decades. 90,000 troops. So they're out there preparing and practicing for war all the way up until May, he says.
Steadfast Defender 24 will be the largest NATO exercise in decades, with participation from approximately 90,000 forces from all 31 allies, plus our good partner, Sweden. The alliance will demonstrate its ability to reinforce.
Their good partner, Sweden. And what did Sweden just say? They said 2 to 3 years. That's the intel they're getting from their good partner from NATO.
The Euro-Atlantic area via transatlantic movement of forces from North America. This reinforcement will occur during a simulated emerging conflict scenario against a near-peer adversary. Steadfast Defender 24 will be a clear demonstration of our unity, our strength, and our determination to protect each other, to protect, of course, our values and the rules-based international order.
Fast enough.
Able
to produce weapons and ammunition that is able to produce.
Let me get to him because he didn't really start talking.
Industrial base that is able to produce weapons and
Admiral Rob Bauer.
Sorry, the big difference with a year ago, I would say, Terry, is that there's a lot of things that have happened in the armed forces and in the defense organizations. What hasn't happened is in our societies, the understanding that it is more than the military that has to be able to operate in a conflict.
Did you hear what he just said? He said what what people haven't grasped on yet is that more than the military has to be prepared for war. He said, don't leave it on us. Don't think you can keep sitting at home with your hands, sitting on your hands and watching your favorite shows or, doing whatever your particular. If you don't have your mind focusing on multiple tasks or at least understanding what's happening, you can forget about it. Because here you are dealing with NATO admiral generals, and they're talking about world affair, warfare. And he's saying, look, what the people don't get is that it's going to be more than the military involved in conflict.
To operate in a conflict or in a war. It is the whole of society that will get involved, whether we like it or not. That realization, we didn't talk about that much a year ago. If you look back to last year, what has happened in our alliance with regard to the battle groups that we set up, if you look back to the training, the fact that we now have steadfast defender with 90,000 troops, that is a record number. That is a record number of troops that we can.
Record number, huh? Imagine that. Let's see. Oh no, select. Get your So Joel 3. And we see this as the Valley of Jehoshaphat. The incoming pending Valley decision, Armageddon, World War III, so forth and so on, right? So Joel 3 and 9 says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So if the Most High is telling them, listen, the heathen are going to be getting prepared for war, the heathen are going to go to war with each other, they're going to have conflict, and the Most High is going to be one that triggers these things. Now we're hearing about these things playing out live on stage. And he just got to saying, this is the largest assembly of war practice and drills ever. So it's a little different than what we've seen and heard in times past. Oh yeah, we know about NATO doing drills. We know about the US. You always got to prepare. You always got to practice. No big deal. No, they're saying, now this is a little different. This is the largest that we've ever had to assemble. This is the biggest threat that we've ever felt. This is the time that we've all actually came together to establish what a world war. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears, let the weak say, I am strong. We see recruiting going on over there in Ukraine. They're taking guys off the barbershops and anywhere else they can to help fight. They're recruiting all over the place. This is why you hear that was like a hint that Rob Bauer, the admiral, NATO admiral, he's saying, it's not just the military. Everybody got to be prepared for conflict. Meaning what? Oh, don't think that we won't draft you. Don't think that it could be warfare that hits your streets that you ain't got to be prepared for. Okay. Everybody's involved. Let me get them over here again.
In the armed forces and in the defense organizations. What hasn't happened is in our societies, the understanding that it is more than the military that has to be able to operate in a conflict or in a war. It is the whole of society that will get involved, whether we like it or not. That realization, we didn't talk about that much a year ago. If you look back to last year, what has happened in our alliance with regard to the battle groups that we set up, if you look back to the training, the fact that we now have steadfast defender with 90,000 troops, that is a record number. That is a record number of troops that we can bring to bear and have an exercise with in that size.
He said, whether you like it or not, whether you like it or not, what is he entailing? What is he saying? If you're saying that you just got to understand it and just go with the flow, like it is what it is, or is that code for, oh, we might have to draft, You understand? This is where we get into those particular terms of dealing with the essences of the system of the beast, mark of the beast, all those other things. What are you going to coincide with? What are you going to agree with? What are you going to morally subject yourself to? This is what they're trying to put into place. This is why we see in Sirach 5:15 says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small." So ignorance is not an excuse. Ignorance isn't bliss. The Most High doesn't pardon. I ain't know. No. The Most High said if it's a matter, great or small, you should have a little knowledge of it. At least be inquiring or inquisitive of it. Because this is what they're putting out to the world. But what they doing over here, over here, it's, the Grammys and, upcoming Super Bowl and all the other stuff. Like, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I watch sports, but there's a time and place for it all. I'd make sure that one doesn't prioritize over the other. If I got studying to do, something to do, those things get done first. If I got some time for the entertainment, I'm going to decompress with a little entertainment. But at the same time, no. My main focus is I'm watching them, documenting them, copying articles, I'm reading them, all of the above.
Back to the training, the fact that we now have Steadfast Defender with 90,000 troops, that is a record number. That is a record number of troops that we can bring to bear and have an exercise with in that size. Across the alliance, across the ocean, from the US to Europe, in Europe. That is a big change.
And then at the back.
Thanks a lot. I guess for Admiral Bow or for General Cavalli.
People find it a surprise and as a result buy a radio on batteries. That is great. It is part of the package that the Swedish government is talking about. You need to have water, you need to have a radio on batteries, and you need to have a flashlight on batteries to make sure that you can survive the first 36 hours.
Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Let him tell you. You know how it goes, man. A lot of times our people, man, it's not respected unless it comes from the mouth of your oppressor. Jake's love promoting the videos, man. Oh, Esau admits we're the Jews. Okay. Esau saying, you better get prepared. He said, look, if you got a radio on batteries, flashlight on batteries, you're going to need water and things of that nature. He said to survive the first 36 hours. He said, these things are good. Are you hearing that from your governments here? The so-called white men over here in America, the hub of the beast, the mother of harlots, are they telling the people? Are they saying, prepare your votes for the Grammys and the Oscar awards? Prepare yourself for your next viral moment. Whatever other folly's going on.
Things like that. That's simple things, but it starts there. The realization that not everything is plannable, not everything is going to be hunky-dory in the next 20 years. I'm not saying it is going wrong tomorrow, but we have to realize it's not a given that we are in peace. And that's why we have the plans.
Thank you all very much.
That's why they have the plans, huh? Very interesting. Very interesting. So he just let you know that don't think it's all peace, everything is hunky-dory. And he just gave wisdom and saying, I would advise you to do this, that, and the third. Take it for what it's worth.
Very much. That's
Meanwhile, what is the American government talking about? Trans vets sue government to pay for sex change operations, opening the door for $100,000 taxpayer-funded surgeries for 163,000 non-conforming ex-service members. So America's Army is worried about making sure that taxpayers get hit upside the head with heavy taxation so that the transformers can go ahead and go full-blown, sex change operations. On the brink of World War III, everything that's going on, and their biggest concern is let's make sure that the transmissions get fixed. This is... We're not going to go to the precept. Y'all know Revelation 11 and 8 that this being spiritual Sodom Isaiah 30 regarding, people going down to Egypt for help and not asking at the Lord's mouth, covering with a covering, but not of the Lord's covering. Trusting in oppression. I mean, the Most High told us precept upon precept. Envy not the oppressor, choose none of his ways in Proverbs 3:31. I mean, come on. This is why we got to distance ourselves, man, from this place, because the distraction that they got going on, they're worried about transmissions getting fixed, and regardless of understanding the real aspects of what's going on in the world. Elections going on, all this other stuff, man, all this politics going on, all the lies that's happening. And this is the biggest thing they're telling us we need to be prepared for. Border situations all out of control. I was telling other dad I had my first encounter with a so-called migrant. I was coming out the store, and this cat runs up on me, and he's selling these handmade bracelets. And what threw me off was the bracelet, the middle with the actual, I guess, jewel or whatever that was supposed to be the middle part of the bracelet. That was hand woven, was an eye. And he was like, here, free. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, no, here. And I looked at him like, what is this eye? And I started hearing he got this accent. So I said, man, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Senegal. I said, oh, okay. I said, no, man, I'm cool. I don't need this. I don't want this. So he said, oh, I'm hungry, please, hungry. I said, what? Like, where are you from? You from Senegal, West Africa? Okay. And I said, oh, he just got off. He just came off of that. He just crossed that border, and he's trying to make a little come up because I never seen him before. Then I frequent the store every so often, man. I never seen no cats from Senegal hanging out from the store trying to sell little trinkets like I'm a tourist. I'm like, look, bro, you in the wrong place, man. I'm not in Senegal trying to buy, little trinkets off the streets. It's reverse now, man. You over here, and you trying to sell me something with an eye on it. Like, no, not doing that. And he was like, okay, and then he walked up. But I knew he definitely was one of the migrants that came over here. Man, he was trying to hustle and get a little bit of money. So we're seeing everything going down. They're touching ground slowly but surely everywhere that you are going to turn. And now Esau's sitting up here trying to figure out what the hell to do. But remember, this is the spirit of ancient Egypt. And I've made remarks about that before. Well, what was happening back during the time of Egypt under Jacob? Remember the 70 souls, man? We had to come to Egypt because of the famine. So when situations of living become third world, starvation, overpopulation, so forth and so on, man, people are going to leave and go to where opportunity is. People are going to leave where the resources are at. So in the same manner, here, everybody's flooding over here to spiritual Egypt, trying to get opportunity, trying to get resources, trying to link up with family, long lost family, trying to get some money. You understand? The same thing going on back then, same thing happening right now. But here we are on the brink of World War III, man, and the so-called white man in America's army is worried about making sure that the trannies get they get fixed up. You understand what I'm saying? Who's gonna pay for it? $100,000 taxes? Get ready, man. That's why this place got to burn, got to go. Here's some more stuff. Did y'all see this? I made mention of the Joy Reid. MSNBC's Joy Reid defends underage gay content for children, but posted homophobic blogs. Kennedy eviscerates Reid's TV bullying and demands that they're any more intolerant than a tolerant liberal. So, we see with Joy Reid, this is the book George Johnson. I've never read it. I'm just going off of the interview. We're going to look at it in a second, right? But of course, it's going to be about a damn so-called Negro who's a sodomite, who talks about how he was molested, or he was molested by a family member as a kid. But apparently he goes into more of his sexual exploits in the book, right? It's a New York Times bestseller. Wow. Here she go. The first of all, this is Joy Reid. In case y'all didn't, this is not Joy Reid. This is Joy Reid. So now we see again the so-called white man utilizing the so-called Negro's woman's mouth to be the voice of reason for justice, equality, and so forth and so on. Man, Jean Pierre, Corinne Jean Pierre, they're utilizing these sisters, man, to be the mouthpiece. First of all, man, I'm sorry, Joy Reid, but you're gonna catch some heat today. You're gonna catch a little heat. She got this damn blonde toupee lace front on. Does she not know that that's unlawful? Clearly not. That's considered a plague. Okay, the lightening of the skin, lightening of the hair, making it blonde or white. Those things are considered plagues. That's not beauty. Leviticus 13:1 says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising or a scab or a bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto the sons of his the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of the flesh, it is the plague of leprosy, and the priest shall look upon him and pronounce him unclean. So here we're seeing what the plague of leprosy is. It breaks out in the skin, or it can affect the hair. It says that the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and the sight be deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut him up that have the plague 7 days. So they had to be isolated for 7 days before being re-examined. Verse 10, it says, and the priest, well, verse 9 says, when the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest. And the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, and there be quick raw flesh rising. So we're seeing that the problem is that there was a lightening of the skin or the flesh, right? That would be considered leprosy. Now, look at this. Verse 18 says, the flesh also in which even the skin thereof was a boil and is healed, and in the place of the boil there be a white rising or a bright spot, white and somewhat reddish, and it be showed to the priest. So when we're even seeing reddish skin, Esau is a clean leper. That's basically what we're understanding here. But he's plagued, which goes back to the mark of Cain, so forth and so on. That's a whole nother thing. But he's hit with a plague, right? That skin is a curse. Continuing on, it says, and if, when the priest seeth, behold, it be in the sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy broken out of the boil. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hairs therein, and if it be not lower than the skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. So we're seeing that when it starts to become dark again, when the skin gets back being dark, this is a color scripture cut too. The hair gets back being dark. We ain't talking about gray. That's different. This is the lightening or being made lighter, whiter, the tinting of whiteness to the hair, which basically breaks down to what does the brunette do to lighten her hair? What's the highest lighting that they go to is blonde. If it ain't blonde, they can go full blown white. You understand? They do all of this stuff. So, everybody can go back and read all of the plague when it comes down to the plague, right? So even looking down here, verse 30 says, then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall dry the scowl, even a leprosy upon the head or the beard. So even if it's yellow, white, blonde, okay? But here we see, this is Joy Reid, how she likes to present herself as a quote unquote mouthpiece for the beast. And she's running out here trying to establish herself as an authority. All right. All right. Sirach 25:25. It says, give the water no passes, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. See, this is why, the mouthpieces of some women, man, that's why the Most High categorized as a wicked woman. So all you sisters in the comments and watching the video, look at this misogynist. It was qualified. A wicked woman cannot have liberty to be bumping her gums all over the damn place. Because what she do? She always showing discord, rumor, backbiting, tail bearing, rumor spreading, gossip, all that other stuff. Most I said, these are the works of a wicked woman. The scripture clearly tell you that a righteous and a virtuous woman, she's supposed to teach her households and teach her good things and all of the. How else she can do that? She obviously has to communicate. She got to deal with other sisters and whatnot. But it said a wicked woman can't do it. That's why I said give the water no passes, meaning, let's say, for instance, you got a faucet that's constantly dripping and leaking and dripping and leaking. The Most High said don't give the water no passes. You got to get that fixed. You got to tighten that up so the water don't have any more passes to get through. And he said in the same manner, you should not be allowing a wicked woman to liberty to gad abroad. Let's look a little bit of this. Fair use. Let's look a little bit of this if you haven't.
LGBTQ parents and parents of LGBTQ kids. So they have parental rights.
Every parent, Joy. Every parent means every parent has the fundamental right to direct the upbringing of their children.
And liberal parents? Do liberal parents have those rights as well?
All parents.
See how she tried to, trick bag her? She just got through saying every parent has a right to raise their children how they see fit. Then she doubles back. Liberal parents? She just said every parent, Joy. Damn, stop playing games.
Sure.
So let me point you to some statistics, because the question becomes then who gets to decide what all kids get to read?
Now, she says the question becomes who gets to decide what all kids need or have the ability to read. So now she's already directing it into saying, well, who really has the authority over what your kids have the ability to read? Now she switches up. If y'all remember this, now the topic of discussion is who really has control over what you're able to allow your kids to be exposed to. Remember the Ministry of Truth? George Orwell, 1984. We looked at this before. Maybe we need a little reminder. 1984, the book. Like I said, they got the movie out. But this is one of the three ministries. The Ministry of Truth is what is the ministry that disseminates information out to the people. They decide what the truth is and what isn't. They decide what you can and can't read. They decide what knowledge is, so forth and so on, right? So now we're hearing this particular type of rhetoric even coming out of the mouth of Joy Reid saying, well, we really need to look at these statistics to say who really has the authority to say who or what books children can read or be exposed to. That's the Ministry of Truth right in your face. Look, the Ministry of Truth, like the other three ministries, has an iconic name. It purports to be focused on the pursuit of truth, when in fact the ministry is concerned with erasing the truth of the past and present it and replacing it with whatever the party deems correct. Those in charge of the ministry decide what truth is. Okay? That's the Ministry of Truth. They decide what's true and what isn't. Look at this. The Ministry of Truth was startlingly different from any other object in sight. It has an enormous pyramidal structure of glittering white concrete soaring up terrace after terrace 300 meters into the air. From where Winston stood, it was possible to read, picked out his white fence elegant lettering, the three slogans of the party. So in the book, he's talking about the Ministry of Truth. Their building is a big pyramid structure, i.e. Modern day Egypt, right? Brother Elkanah sent me a picture last week of the damn phallic symbol they got down there in Jacksonville now, the same one that they got at the Washington Monument. So they're not hiding anymore about, this being spiritual Egypt, man, and their phallic worship and all of that. From DC to Florida. And in between, you got Baphomet statues in Kansas City and Detroit. But here's the slogans that they got on the building: war is peace, everything is in reverse. Freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. So the Ministry of Truth tells you what's real, what isn't, what's true, what isn't, right? This is what they want to push. So here's Joy Reid saying, we want to look at statistics to tell you really who should be telling your kids what to
LGBTQ
read.
parents, we're talking about more than 700, just that of roughly 1,100 constituted 6% of all book challengers. Took a look at about 1,000 plus books, because the question becomes then who gets to decide what all kids get to read. The Washington Post.
That's not the question. That's what she's inserting, that the government is going to be able to tell you what all kids should be able to read. Now she's already diverted away from it's not the parents' rights. Y'all see that?
Took a look at about 1,000 plus book challenges that were filed, and they found that they were filed nationwide by just 11 people. Each of these people brought 10 or more challenges against books in their school district. Together, these serial filers constituted 6% of all.
So, to make a long story short, she's saying that there was 1,000, basically 1,000 book survey, whatever the case may be. She's saying that there was only 11 people that were ejected, that went against or complained about having these particular books in there. She's saying that really it's just a small minority. It's only 11 people that has a problem with this agenda that's being pushed, right? So anybody that's standing in the way, you're a problem, because it's really everybody's with it. Well, what does the Bible say about going along with what everybody wants? What's the law say? Because here she is trying to make it simple. We just got to hearing Yahushua say, well, we didn't read it, but I gave Matthew 7:13, but we just seen the second Ezra 7. That narrow path is so small that only one man can go in at a time. Yahushua says that wide is the gate that leads to destruction, narrow is the path that leads to life. The law in Exodus 23 says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. So is it about what everybody's doing, Joy Reid? Is it about what the crowd is doing? Does that make it right? Does that make it okay? Does that make it acceptable? Does that make it God blessed? Hell no. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in the cause of decline after many to wrest judgment. So we have to speak up when it comes down to judgment. We can't sit back and decline and say, that ain't my business. I don't know about that. I'm going to leave that alone. If you have knowledge of the situation, the Lord said you can't decline when many are wrestling to establish a judgment. Main thing is we ain't following what everybody's doing. Joy Reid says, well, statistically, 1,000 book challenge, only 11 people made multiple complaints about these books. And who even knows if those statistics are accurate?
LGBTQ
I have a hard time
parents.
believing that only 11 parents have a problem reading about same-sex marriage pushing books. I got a hard time believing that only 11 parents are concerned about sex change operations in elementary school books, sodomy being promoted in books, butt play, all. Y'all seen it, you know it, right? She said only 11 people got a problem with it. Everybody else is just fine. Nobody else sees a problem. Let me go down here. And they was going back and forth.
The question I'm asking is, what is the expertise that you have and other Moms for Liberty advocates have to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate?
She says, what expertise do you have to say that this award-winning book, who gives a damn? America consistently gives rewards for evil. Consistently gives. Look, you got cops that's out here killing brothers, man, that's getting off with $500,000 pensions. You got 3 cops, man, that killed a brother in damn, I forgot which one it was. But it was 3 cops, man, and they got $500,000 to retire or to resign after killing a brother. They get rewarded for this stuff, man. What are you talking about? I mean, just look at everybody seeing the Cat Williams interview. Look what he's saying. You get rewarded if you sit on that couch. You get rewarded if you offer, services for exchange of fame, glory, exposure. She's sitting up there talking about, oh, what expertise do you have for this award-winning book? What?
For students to read. What is their
What a
expertise?
tragic story of a young man who's anally raped by his adult family member. So you have incest, rape, pedophilia. Joy, you said you'd let me answer, so I'm going to answer
Please
for you. In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school? That's my question to you. Tell me what the context around the strap-on dildo or the rape of a minor child by a teacher.
Hold on a second.
No,
wait,
we're talking about public school.
One moment.
All right.
Now see, that's all part of the book. Now the man's talking about how we got raped by family members. She said, well, the real issue is we're talking about incest. We're talking about pedophilia. We're talking about child rape. I mean, can we put those things on the forefront? What does strap-on dildos and everything else have to do with that particular aspect of criminality and demoralization? Joy Reid wants to defend that.
So now you've asked me questions.
Sure.
I'm gonna answer it.
Okay.
Well, who is the main character? What's the name of the main character in All Boys Are Blue?
You're asking me right now.
You just gave me very specific information about this book, so you're
Now she's gonna try to question her. Who's author of the book? What's that got to do with any damn thing? Because now she's accusing her to make it seem like she didn't read the book. She don't know nothing about the book. But the white woman says the book is about George, the author. So she's like, yeah, okay, well,
an author.
You just remembered very specific things.
Joy.
Here's my
We're
question.
talking about
Here's my
strap. You
question.
didn't answer my question.
No. I'm going to answer. your
Great.
question.
I would love to hear that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm interviewing you. You're not interviewing me. So let's just make sure it's a conversation. Okay.
Great.
So what I'm saying to you is that as you are not an expert in this book,
I don't have to be an expert to know that dildos aren't appropriate for public.
hello? Damn. White women just cut the hell out of it. Joy Reid is talking about you need to be an expert to be able to analyze a book to say whether or not it's appropriate for your child to read. If you're not an expert teaching pedophilia, you're not an expert in rape, you're not an expert in how to use dildos and all that, I guess you're not, you can't tell your kid what to read. She just said, come on now, I don't have to be an expert to know that talking about strap-on dildos is not appropriate for my child. Joy Reid says, no, you're wrong about that.
This
let's get real.
book is a full context story, as you said, of the author's experience. Why is it your right or a Moms for Liberty activist's right to say that a parent who wants their child to have access to this book, which gives a personal experience of this author, why doesn't a liberal parent, for instance, or a parent of an LGBTQ kid, why don't they have a right for their child to just have access to this book? Why is it your right to say they can't?
So,
see, now she's talking about, well, this is a personal story, and how can, like, come on, this is well beyond an autobiography. Nobody said you need to be putting graphic details about what your experiences and all this other stuff that's going on here. We know that there's an agenda. We know that it's being propagated, by the so-called white man, his established axis of evil when it comes down to pushing a agenda that morally goes against the scriptures. I know Brother N.Korea sent me a video earlier showing an elite school in California caught on camera admitting that they were pushing the agenda and that they were making the kids lead double lives while they can be out the closet at school and all that. When they go home, they're supposed to hide it from their children. They're talking about how they are taking control of the children's lives and giving them opportunities to make choices before their parents even know. And they said that, they're doing it on the low because they know they're dealing with parents that have money and influence. We're talking about school, private school, $30,000 tuition a year and all this other stuff. I've covered stories where they've got the LGBTQ plus HIV activists teaching after school programs, monitoring kids, internet searches and recruiting them into their little support groups. California's got laws now, man, where they're trying to make it illegal for a parent to have consent when it comes down to gender reassignment surgeries and all this other stuff, man. You ain't got to be a damn expert, man, to be a parent and have control over your damn children. What are you talking about, Joy Reid?
Again, we're talking about incest, rape, and pedophilia. And each parent, no.
You see, I'm done with this, man. That's a wicked woman gadding abroad, man. She constantly interrupting in the midst of speech, constantly pushing this damn agenda, man. She's wicked as hell, man. A shame that she's even associated with our people. If she is, somebody told me she's a Hamite. I don't know. I ain't did no background on it. But from face value, by name and appearance, she looked like a damn Negro, man, wearing a damn blonde toupee. I'm out of here.
Each parent.
Get out of here. All right. So y'all see Joy Reid, man, pushing the agenda, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. California, look at this. Sorry, speeders. New bill will require speed limit devices in California cars. This is just more opportunity for them to control, monitor, track, trace. They want gasless vehicles by 2030. It ain't looking good because them electric vehicles ain't worth jack squat in many people's eyes. Many people having regrets. We see Tesla stock just crashed a couple of days ago. You know, people are backing up off of the EV wave. So what are they going to do to impose, a new measure? I don't know. But here we see the next thing they want to do is monitor our driving and our tracking. If you're speeding, they got devices in there that's going to be tracked by GPS that automatically slows your car down or gives you a warning telling you to slow down. Having more control of your car, man, it's going to be unbelievable, man. You talk about real control. Look, the measure Senate Bill 961 would require every passenger vehicle, truck, and bus manufactured or sold in California to have speed governors starting in 2027. The devices would use GPS technology or cameras to verify the speed limit in a particular area and slow a speeding vehicle down if it approaches 10 miles per hour over the limit. Now, it's not about safety and control or whatnot. Like, of course, people are going to say, man, well, yeah, my uncle, my kid got killed, man. Guy was driving 80 miles an hour in the school zone. I understand that. Sympathetically, sure. The problem is they're exploiting those situations to control everybody else. They're saying, well, we need GPS trackers and cameras in your cars, not only just for your speed, but we want to know where you are at every particular point in time. And we need to be watching you with the cameras, and we can control your vehicle. They got the black boxes in most of the cars. They've been putting them black boxes similar to the ones that they have in planes since like the early 2000s. When the planes crash and they look for the black box and they can get all the recorded activity, same thing they got in mostly all the cars now anyway. Now they want to implement a function to slow your car down immediately, but they're using GPS technology. Well, GPS is going to be able to pinpoint where you are, where you're going, how long you've been gone, the whole nine. Right? Weiner, good Lord, said he is open to changes in the bill. For example, whether to require active or passive speed governors. Active speed governors will actually reduce the speed of cars that hit the 10 mile per hour limit, while passive ones will make some sort of annoying sound or buzz to warn drivers to slow down. So here they are talking about two different ways. They can have an automatic kill switch on the speed. And you know what people are going to do? People are going to drive, all the way up to like the 8 mile per hour. I know 10 is going to shut off, or slow me down. So I'm going to just drive all the way up to 8-9 miles an hour over the limit. They ain't going to stop people from still moving faster than the speed limit. But they want it because they know that this is a primary means of tracking. So look at this. The European Union passed legislation that will require passive speed governors in all cars sold in member countries starting in July. So the EU is already pushing it. This is already going back to the essences of the 10 horns. Remember, we seen the video earlier with George Bush said that they were going to create a state. They wanted to have part of this new world order was going to be a union of nations that were all going to be moving in the same direction. to put it simplified. So the European Union is already doing this. All the cars sold starting in July are going to be equipped with this particular technology. Now they need America, starting with California, because what's his name? Gavin Newsom, man, loves it, he's wide open for penetration. Let's put it that way. He's wide open for penetration, man. He said, man, come on. I'll take whatever you got. I'll put it out on the table. I want the new world. I want to be part of this oppression. I want to be the leading charge when it comes down to pushing this particular agenda, if you know what I mean. All right. Here we go. Texas Governor Greg Abbott tears into Biden administration and vows to fight the Scottish ruling to let Border Patrol cut razor wire across the southern border as he warns of exploding migrant crisis. So we see here, I'm gonna take that banner off because I don't think I'm playing any more videos today. But we see here, man, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Now, slow Biden got blessed by the Supreme Court that said that they were going to be able to cut down barbed wire that Texas had lined up on their own. So they got the border wall, and then Governor Abbott had another line of razor wire and barbed wire to prevent the so-called illegal passings, right? So he's been talking about we need to continue to protect Texas. Slow Biden says, no, cut those things down. We want them to come on in. Now, this is how you know Slow Biden is wicked as hell. We'll see in a minute. So this is what is really increasing more issues between Esau. So we know in Mark 3, Yahweh said, if a kingdom be divided against itself, it can't stand. If Satan cast out Satan, all of those things we see. 2 Ezra 15, a man desiring to go in the city, not being able. All of these things are playing out right in front of our eyes. The divide of America leading to its particular downfall, man not being able to go where he wants to go, being restricted of travel. We're seeing sedition amongst men. They're talking about rumors of quote unquote civil war. I think some of that is part propaganda because we know that the movie's coming out in April. And it's supposed to tie in California and I think Texas seceding from the United States and it becoming a civil war, which that's strange bedfellows because they've got complete different ideologies when it comes down to governance. Gavin Newsom, he's open for everything. He wants to push the agenda all day. Texas and Greg Abbott is holding up a sign of rebellion saying we're not doing this. We're Texas. They like to say that. This is Texas. They want to establish and say that they ain't moving like that. They're the good old boys, right? So they have barbed wire up as a secondary defense, and Slow Biden says, "Hey, we need to cut that down, man. Give them free passage on in there." Supreme Court says, "Yeah, that's cool." President said it, done. Now, Governor Abbott is fighting back again. So now there's particular strife that's going on, and he's now gotten support from, I think, 25 different Republican governors are saying, hold on. Yeah, that's right. We're riding with them now. So now there is a particular divide amongst America and his governments, right? In victory for the Biden administration, the Supreme Court of the United States has cleared the way for the Biden administration to remove miles of razor wire barrier placed at the Texas border with Mexico by order of Texas Governor Abbott. The ruling would allow Border Patrol agents to cut federal agents to cut through portions of the wire if they deem it necessary. The justices voted 5-4 to grant an emergency appeal from the Biden administration during an escalating standoff with Texas Governor Greg Abbott over whether the state or the federal government has an authority to secure the border at the hot spot of Eagle Pass, Texas. Now look at this. Texas defies Slow Biden by recruiting volunteers to bolster the border fight. So, there's been I've been hearing words about the Army reserves being utilized to come down there. National Guard being used. They're recruiting and they're looking at deputizing people to go down there and help protect the border. It's turning into a real quote unquote conflict, right? So Texas has continued to defy President Slow Biden on the border issue and is offering cash for Texas military department members to man the border. The Lone Star State is seeking to, quote, deploy border security assets to high threat areas to deny criminal organizations the ability to illegally move drugs and people into Texas. Volunteers will work the Texas Military Department full-time for up to $55 per day, according to the agency's website. Who the hell is going to go down there and deal with mass amounts of, people coming from all over the world, flooding through? Then you still got to deal with the cartels and all that for $55 a day. $55 an hour, I'm sure people is going to be ready to drop everything and head down. A day, please. Here's a couple of other headlines regarding this topic. Governor Little to send Idaho State Police troopers to Mexico border amid Texas standoff. So the governor of Idaho, he's sending down his backups. He's sending state troopers down there to Mexico to stand with Texas. Protest convoy headed to the southern border is calling itself a, quote, army of God. You see this foolishness? Now you've got Idaho sending troops down there. There's this big convoy that's supposed to be set up come Monday. I think they said they've got 80,000 truckers that's going to line their trucks up along the border and stand in protest. That's supposed to be going down on Monday. And they call themselves the, quote, army of God. But watch this. Look how they flip it. The MAGA truckers are back and heading to the border. Where and how are these MAGA? See, this is where the politics come into play. The Make America Great Again. They're saying these are people that truckers are coming from Canada, all across the country. What's Canada got to do with making America great? I mean, come on. But look what they say. A convoy of Jesus-loving truckers will converge on the southern border next week in a battle to stop what they say is a migrant invasion. Now, look at it. You see what the media is already started to demonize anybody that, quote unquote, stands with Yahweh. Now, granted, these are some truckers. More than likely, 85% of them is probably Edomites. They're Jesus love. They love Caesar. But we ain't talking about that. We got to look at this as being the standing point of what's really going to happen for the true dedicated followers, the true worshipers. Look, as Yahweh told us in St. John, this is the prototype. They let them be the guinea pigs. And we got to look and we see what exactly does that mean. Why are they talking about, oh, they're up there, the Jesus lovers. They're out. Convoy. Well, look, this is why Yahweh said this is what it really is going to be boiling down to. John 4:23, it says, but the hour cometh and now is when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and truth. Them truckers ain't true worshipers, right? But we know that for those of us who truly believe, stand firm, and are ready to die for this word and stand firm on law, statute, and commandments for a nation and be persecuted for Yahweh Shah's namesake, they're already putting out the Ministry of Truth information headline, Jesus lovers bad. You understand? This is why we see it's now time for the true worshipers to worship the Father in spirit and truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. The Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth, right? And we know that the laws of truth, pursuant to Psalms 149, 143. I mean, 119 and 143, I should say. But this is what they're labeling them as. A convoy of Jesus-loving truckers are going to converge on the southern border in the next week in a battle to stop what they say is a migrant invasion. So what are they saying? That the people that's coming from Mexico, Guatemala, Venezuela, Colombia, Haiti, Ghana, Senegal, so forth, they're not Jesus lovers. This is the ultimate battle of good and evil. I mean, the migrant zombies is here to come in and destroy everything. See, they already created a divide with that. We already see, Northern and Southern Kingdom going at it in places like Chicago and New York, just based upon this quote unquote invasion. So they're going to use that to divide, within the nation as well. Oh, they're coming in. They're going to take your jobs. They're going to take your kids' place in school. They're going to eat all your food. They're going to take. We see that the what was it? She was the mayor of Massachusetts, governor of Massachusetts, talking about if you got an extra room, open up your doors, man, and sponsor a family. This is complete madness. So they got a big old trucker convoy that's going to be landing down come Monday. It says, but the event called the quote "Take Our Border Back" convoy and promoted by far right media is advertised as a quote peaceful assembly of active and former law enforcement, military, ranchers, bikers, business owners, and quote mama bears. So this is what we're going to see come next week. Let's see what happens. But it's definitely going to be an issue. How should I talk about it? Ain't nobody complain. The Ukrainians, they was coming over here since the beginning of the war 2 years ago. And they was getting preferential treatment, lining them up, pushing Jakes out the way and saying, man, here comes some good white folks, good white Christians coming from Europe, coming from Ukraine. Let them in first. Give me a break, man. Give me a damn break. Look, Biden urges, now watch this. Biden urges Congress to embrace the border bill, but House Speaker suggests it may be dead on arrival. Now, all of a sudden, slow Biden and flipped again with his double-tongued, fork-tongued speaking butt. He just got the Supreme Court to say, man, tell Texas they got to cut down that barbed wire. Now he's double back and talking about, I got a border bill. We can stop this right now. Why did he flip all of a sudden? Now all of a sudden he's talking about we got to secure the border. What? I don't know if it's the coke residue that he might have stumbled on and accidentally took a little toot of. I don't know if it's the weed. You dig what I'm saying? Like what? You just got to do saying cut the wires. Now you're talking about we can take a little bit of the money from Ukraine and then we can go ahead and invest it down on the border. Why are they doing that? Because they just got to seeing what happened with the Republican primaries between Trump and Nikki Haley, and slow Biden running around talking about abortion. They was like, what? Anybody caring about abortion right now? We're looking at the border. We're looking at the economy. We're looking at AI, all this other. And now all of a sudden, slow Biden's like, oh, the old game plan that ain't working no more. Well, the border is what everybody want to talk about. Let me switch up and now talk about the border. We know this tactic. We know this tactic, right? Sirach 13:4 says, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. So utilizing this so-called migrant crisis and all that, he's going to benefit from it. He's going to motivate them to vote. They get the border, man. They get that manila envelope with a debit card, a phone, bus tickets, and everything else. And they tell you, slow Biden did this. Here, take this. When we're able to, allow you to vote, remember, slow Biden. They take the package. Yeah, slow Biden. Okay. They out of there. But when you ain't got nothing, man, a white man will reject you faster than a bounce check. Only if he's for profit, man. So if he's doing something, man, it's because he's getting something out the deal. Continue on. It says, if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it. If he have needed thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee. You see him over here stuttering and mumbling and throwing that out there about, he wants to build back better. Man, come on. If he have needed thee, he will deceive thee. He got no problem lying if he can come up on it. So 1 minute he talking about the abortion is a big issue and all this. No, now, it's the border. Let me switch up. Hold on. I got a budget bill for the border. And then you see Corinne Jean-Pierre with her goofy butt talking about, yeah, the border's under control. We know that there's a problem, but we've got it under control. What? Where and how? Oh, okay. And they'll smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He'll speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? Oh, we don't want you don't want that evil dictator Trump. Get rid of him. Trump saying, oh, we're going to get rid of that old Biden. They all jockeying for position, lying on each other, man, biting each other's asses, trying to see who can sit down first. No. All this stuff is all lies, man. So we see Slow Biden. He didn't flip the script. President Slow Biden on Friday pressed Congress to embrace a bipartisan Senate deal to pair border enforcement measures with Ukraine aid. But House Speaker Mike Johnson suggested the compromise on the border and immigration policy would be dead on arrival in the chamber. So he said, man, it's a little too late for that, Slow Biden, man. You're trying to propose something now, and look, it's over with. Borders already, the budget's already solidified. Quit trying to panhandle and parlay your way into another conversation, act like you're doing something. Not happening. The Democratic president said in a statement late Friday that the policies proposed would, quote, be the toughest and fairest set of reforms to secure the border we've ever had in our country. He was supposed to do that 4 years ago. Now, when he's on his last leg, he got 8 more months before elections. Oh, now he's ready to do something. Oh, he also pledged to use a new emergency authority to, quote, shut down the border as soon as he could sign it into law. See, if he hadn't needed it, he'll use it. He'll deceive us. You understand? You notice he's actually had a couple of different bills passed to get some of these student loans forgiven all of a sudden within the last couple months. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, now he's doing stuff. Yeah, Con, words smoother than butter. That's right. Unbelievable. Look what they doing to our people, though. And look at this maniac. Homeland Security says ICE performed up to 214 unapproved surgeries, including 2 sterilizations on migrant women in the custody between 2019 and 2021. In custody. So when they've got our people down there in these cages, locked down in these detention centers, they down there doing all kind of damn experiments, man. Unauthorized surgeries. They doing probably organ harvesting. Who knows what's going on? Sterilizing women. Here go this Elamite damn demon over here is the one who's heading up doing a lot of these surgeries. All without their consent. You see down here? It's very faint, but I'm going to read it for you. Dr. Mahendra Amin was previously accused of operating on women held at the Irwin County Detention Center in Ocilla, Georgia, without their consent. Now, you can go back into the 70s, man. They was doing sterilizations on Native American women without their consent. You had in the 80s and the 90s, they were sterilizing so-called Black women locked up in jail. Some of them even being propositioned, if they get sterilized, they can get shorter time in probation. Probationary releases and all of that if they got sterilized. Man, this place is wicked as hell. They letting the women come on over there, man, and they operating, doing unapproved surgeries. Who knows what kind of stuff is going on? Experimentation is going on with our people down there. We already know that the migrant crisis, so-called migrant crisis, is happening with the children going through sex slavery and being transported, separated from homes. They're not even doing the DNA testing no more to find out who belongs to where. Families being separated. And you wonder why Slow Biden and the rest of them is saying, yeah, let them do. We still got more we still got more surgeries, experimentations to go for, and all this other stuff, man. And that's why our people think, oh, we're coming over here to America, home of the free, land of the slave. All what? Little do you know what's going on, man. What they got our people locked up in. Children being sex trafficked, man, thrown in pedophile rings. Ain't no different than what they did with the 60 scoop with the Native American children. Remember, we covered that. Them separating families, man, giving them into white, putting them in adoption agencies, giving them to white families, completely turning them out. Same thing. Almost a third of surgeries audited did not have proper authorization according to audit. 2 of 6 hysterectomies performed did not have documentation to show they were, quote, medically necessary. Investigation follows whistleblower complaints that detainees were being operated on without consent. Unbelievable. Top Republican leading Mayorkas impeachment shares terrifying video of illegal immigrant. Warning news reporter, you will find out who I am. There was a video here. They be asking this little he appeared to be Ishmael. They was asking him who he was, what's he doing. He said, you see the little quote down there. They had it on the closed caption. It says, you're really not smart enough to know who I am. He said, you're gonna know who I am. They're propagating that as if he's a terrorist. Something's gonna go down. Once he gets in here, he could be a sleeper cell. Who knows what, right? So this is more of what's going down there at the border. You got these little independent reporters running down there, trying to film and see what's happening, interviewing people. But people are coming over here in droves and waves, man. They said this in the millions already. I think they said 8 million, which is damn near the population of like a city in Ohio, I think they said. Something like that. But nonetheless, we see what's happening. Look at Nikki Haley. This is the presidential hopeful, Nikki Haley. She says in her own words why America, quote, has never been a racist country. Do y'all agree with that? You're the so-called white man's hopeful elect. She says America's never been racist. She already had to backtrack on acknowledging her fact-checking regarding the Civil War. She said it wasn't about slavery. And then she doubled back to, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I thought everybody knew about slavery. I just didn't say the obvious. I meant to do it. What? Now she's saying America's never been a racist country, right? So we see what principles she stands on. But watch this. Nikki Haley claims she was a victim of racism and teased every day for being brown. What? She says she's Elam, man. She's Indian. She's East Indian. Now I don't know. I'm not gonna say she's lying. I can't call it. Maybe she is, but she's the whitest looking East Indian I've ever seen. That's similar to what's the Edomite woman, man, that was claiming that she was Native American. She was running for president back during the Trump era. She wore the glasses. Damn, what was her name? I forgot. But if y'all remember, you know who I'm talking about. The older white woman wore glasses with the short little haircut. She was claiming she was Native American. She was like, yeah, I'm like, I got 1/15th 1/15th Native American blood in me. So I bear the feathers of my ancestors. Like, B, if you don't get up out of here. Now, just after Nikki Haley says America was never a racist country, now to panhandle some votes and trying to ease off and get to the quote unquote minority votes. Now she wants to say, oh, guess what? I was teased. I was a victim of racism. I thought America was never a racist country. You lying witch. See, this is what happens. Now all of a sudden she wants to embrace herself being East Indian and coming from India and being a product of immigrants and all. You ain't never heard her talk about none of this stuff before. Now she's a brown woman. This is unbelievable, man. Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley claimed she was a victim of racism in her early childhood during a recent interview, sparking outrage on social media. Haley was born in the U.S. to two Sikh parents from India. USA Today reported this Haley claim while speaking with NBC Sunday caused her to have a difficult upbringing while growing up in South Carolina. We were the only Indian family in our small southern town, the Republican said. I was teased every single day for being brown. So anyone that wants to question it can go back and look at what I've said on how hard it was to grow up in the deep South as a brown girl. So sisters, I guess she can sympathize with the struggles, man. You believe that? I mean, she's a brown woman now. I digress. Let me move on. Arizona Republican Chair Jeff DeWitt resigns over bombshell audio bribing Kari Lake to stay out of office. This was a bombshell thing. The woman Kari Lake, she was running for, I believe, governor of Arizona in 2022, I believe. She recorded this cat, man, being the mouthpiece for some quote unquote very powerful people who were going to bribe her to stay out of the race. Con, there you go, Elder. Elizabeth Warren. That was a white woman claiming she was Native American. Please. Y'all can go look her up and you tell me is she indigenous or not. Okay. So Kari Lake, she was a Trump supporter. She was talking about the votes was rigged, all the other stuff. Even her own election, she was saying that, you know, there was some foul play going on, which now probably has some credence because she was bribed, or she got offered a bribe to drop out of the race and stay out of politics for 2 years. They basically told him, we'll go ahead and see, that's why I was wondering if she's a Jake, man. I was looking up. She looked like she got a little, little swirl in her or something, but I couldn't tell. Online, they credit her parents as being Edomites, but she don't look like the rest of her. She don't look like her siblings though. But let's look at it. This don't look like no Edomite to me. Now, who knows? But if you say she a Jake, she in your state, you would know a little bit more than me regarding what's happening. But yeah, here she go, right? She's a devout Christian. She spoke up against the LGBTQ plus, the books in the schools, all the other stuff, right? She's pushing a similar agenda. She stand behind the Republicans, all the other stuff, right? But the big thing is that it came out that she got offered a bribe to drop out of politics. They told her, man, take this money. We'll get you something to, occupy yourself for a couple of years. But we need you to step to the side because we got an agenda we trying to push. We got somebody who we want to run this thing. Look, Jeff DeWitt resigned as the chair of the Arizona Republican Party Wednesday, 24 hours after Daily Mail published leaked audio of him offering Kari Lake a plum job or money to step out of politics. In the tape, he can be heard explaining that powerful people would offer her a job or money if she sits out of politics for 2 years. In his resignation statement, he accused Lake of setting him up by recording a private conversation. So here he is saying, I'm the victim here. She set me up by recording the conversation. She didn't tell you to say what you said. She didn't tell you to expose all of this truth. So how the hell are you going to say, I'm the victim here? She recorded me telling the truth. Unreal. This morning, I was determined to fight for my position, said DeWitt 51. However, a few hours ago, I received an ultimatum from Lake's team, resign today or face the release of a new, more damaging recording. He said he was resigning in the hope that it would end her attacks on him. It says here, audio obtained by dailymail.com revealed how he made his offer at her home in early March last year. There are very powerful people who want to keep you out, he can be heard saying. Later in the 10-minute recording, he asked her for a number and floats the idea of finding her a job that would keep her busy for 2 years. It's about 10 minutes long. I mean, these guys, he talking about how much you need. Just name a number. They got it. You need hundreds of millions? No problem. And she was like, this type of stuff, man, I can't do it. They're going to mess around and kill me. He's like, oh, yeah, come on, let's not go there. I mean, it's wild. When you start hearing really the background conversations that go on in politics and you really see what goes on, it's undermining all the stuff, man, you be seeing, we see on that movie Succession series. Succession on I think it's on Max, but that's really about a media company. But even shows you the media is involved in politics. They're paying off through donors and controlling politicians and all kind of stuff. I haven't seen that movie or that series, House of Cards. I think I want to see that. But it kind of gives you, anybody seen that, man, let me know. Recommend it in the chat. House of Cards, if that's any good, right? But nonetheless, you see what goes on behind dirty politics, man. They try to pay this woman off, tell her drop out the race, and then next thing you know, she didn't drop out. But then you start hearing about, oh, there was voter fraud and all this other stuff, and now she's sitting back like, what? No, they got rid of me because I got bribed and I wouldn't fall out. So it lets you know it don't even matter. Hold on. I think it's in her Wikipedia page. I seen something. Was it here? There was one part in here I did see when I was looking into her, but it said that she was fighting over voter fraud. I know she was talking about it for Trump, but I wanted to see if it was about her as well. I ain't got time to. Yeah, here we go. Oh no. Yeah, here we go. Election loss and refusal to concede. Yeah, October 2022, Lake twice refused to say that she will accept the result if she lost the election. I'm going to win the election and I will accept that result. See, when she ended up losing, she knew that they rigged the damn thing. That's why she's sitting up there saying, no, I'm not going to take this loss because I know they wanted me to drop out. They wanted to pay me. And they just said, well, shit, if you ain't going to drop out, no problem. We'll just rig the vote. We'll get rid of you one way or the other. By hook or by crook, these quote unquote powerful people are going to get what they want. So anybody that believes and thinks that your vote matters, not only do they have the electoral college who really decides on the president, but they have quote unquote powerful people who get what they want. Who these people are, who knows? Let's put it like that. Who knows? But we know. All right. Let's continue. Look, California homeless people are found living inside caves. Homeless people living inside caves, 20 feet below street level, complete with home furnishings, as Democrat state grapples with vagrancy and LA begins an annual count of those living rough. So if you're wondering about how bad is it in California, you know, what's happening with the 10 cities, they moving beyond the 10 cities, man. They living underground. I made mention of this movie before. I'm going to do it again. Demolition Man, that movie. And mind you, Demolition Man, I think, came out in 93. And it's very ironic that if any of y'all seen that movie, Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, the year is 2032. And you know, Esau got this whole new white utopia. You know, everything's peaceful. You get fined if you cuss. Everybody, no problems. Everything is all good. Everything's automated. They be moving around. Beef, you can't eat beef no more. They restricted diets and everything else. Essentially what they want to do now. But they say it's in 2032. We keep hearing words about 2030, right? But here comes an old Negro that was a hardened criminal, one of the worst of his time, in a cryogenic freezer. Somehow he gets out. Sorry to spoil it for y'all, but spoiler alert. It's damn near 1993. If you ain't caught up by now, I don't even know if spoiler alert qualifies. But here comes a Negro man that gets put into this particular future, and he raises hell and wants to overthrow it and take over it. You get where I'm coming from? White man takes it, establishes his kingdom. Black man comes from the past to destroy it and take it over. You follow me? Just to put a little spin on it, right? And then they got to get this cop from the era that Wesley Snipes came from, which is Stallone. They resurrect him. They unfreeze him because you gotta fight eye for eye, tooth for a tooth, and they have a familiarity. And he comes in to try to stop him. So it's very interesting. But part of that story is there was people that lived underground that wasn't going along with the program of the people living above. I forgot the guy's name, the Edomite. He used to talk all fast, and he was a comedian back in the 90s. But he was like the leader of the little underground people living. I mean, all of this stuff starts really coming to head. I'm like, damn. You got this movie, man. They talking about people living underground and breaking away from society, don't want parts of the, this new world order system, whatever. People in this homeless situation, they are some by choice, some by situation or circumstance. But now you got people living in underground caves, man, 20 feet below. And you got Mark Zuckerberg playing multi-millions of dollars to make himself a damn bunker below. I mean, this is the time to win, man. This is the time to win. All right. But if y'all ain't seen that movie, go check it out. Brother is oh, you said it came on the other day? Yeah, kind of. Wesley Snipes did have blonde hair. Absolutely. Damn, I missed that one. I've been wanting to see it again too, but I guess I got to find it again. Yeah, here you go. No, I don't want the eBay. Yeah, here you go. Got the blonde hair. You get fined if you cuss, all kind of stuff, right? Esau and Jacob, the ultimate showdown. And of course, a white man wins in his fantasy world. But we know the real. We know the real. Let me wrap this up with y'all. All right. So here we go. Finishing this up, it says groups were moved from the 8 caves on the banks of the Tolomo River in Modesto. Some of the caves were fully furnished and even had a wall, murals, and a makeshift fireplace, but they were at risk of flooding. LA is currently carrying out their annual homelessness count at 75,500 were sleeping on the streets in county on one given night last year. You got over 75,000 people living out here on the streets. And California just made a law too that they're getting ready to restrict campers from parking out on the streets in public parking. So the people that got the campers, man, and like I said, I go to this park every so often. I go there, do some walking, and sometimes I just pull up, read, meditate, chill for a little bit, and I be seeing people living out their vans, out their little what do you call it? Little SUV soccer mom vans, and there's a couple of actual campers that they pull up. California getting ready to get rid of that, telling people they can't park on the streets. They ain't gonna be overnight and all that other stuff. So they're moving people up off of here. I don't even know if I got that on here. Let me see. See that? LA expands overnight RV parking ban on the west side. Overnight RV parking restrictions expanded in LA. So they don't want people living. Look at it. There should be no camping in the city. You got over 75,000 people, man, that don't have no place to live. Some people living in their RVs and homes just like this. This is just how they be looking, parked on the street and parked in designated areas. And they're telling them, hey, you can't park here no more. Where are these people gonna go? Where are they gonna go? You understand? So, they tightening up the wrench even more. Even more. You feel me? So people living in caves, RV homes, the whole nine, man, and people can't get through. That this place is in trouble. My brother Byron is giving y'all a friendly reminder. Do that for your brother. All praises. The water. Let me wrap this up, though. Wrap this up with y'all. Colorado pastors accused of pocketing $1.3 million in a crypto scheme, and he said that the Lord told him to do it. He said the Lord told him to do it. Is that right? Is that right? Okay. Isaiah 58, I think. Isaiah 58 and 8. It says, "For my ways are not your for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Most High." So, what is he talking about? The Lord told him to go getting this crypto scam. What do you think the Most High gives a damn about crypto? You think he told him, yeah, the Most High told me, yeah, go ahead and get this money, scam the people, make it come up. Yeah, and I'll bless you for that. I'm going to show you how to go ahead and get this money. He says that the Lord told him to do it, and the Lord sanctified it. And the Most High clearly just said, no, my ways ain't your ways. My thoughts ain't your thoughts. Don't put that on me. And I believe it was an Edomite pastor, as a matter of fact. Edomite pastor, as a matter of fact. Now, I want, let me see, I think I want 56. Yeah, look at this. Isaiah 56 and 10 says, his watchmen are all blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. See, these are the watchmen. Nowadays, your modern day pastors, priests, Catholic cardinals, and bishops, and so forth and so on, man. He said they're all blind. They're not teaching our people the truth. They're not teaching our people our nationality. They're not teaching them to repent. They're not teaching them the laws and the commandments. They're not giving them no knowledge about true salvation. They're all lazy, dumb dogs. Yea, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter. They all got their own hustles. They all are taking advantage of the people, making merchandise of the sheep. You understand? This guy talking about the Lord told him to do it. More than 300 people bought the INDX coin, a cryptocurrency created by the pastor and marketed through his online church, which he deemed illiquid and practically worthless. The guy made up a fake digicoin, told all his congregants and people that was following online to invest in it. He raised up nearly $3.2 million. At least, I guess maybe he's 10 tribe. His name is Eli Regalado. But when I seen the picture, he looked like, he might be a Spaniard, but he could have been 10 tribe. I don't know. But we see a Colorado-based pastor for an online church accused of pocketing $1.3 million through a cryptocurrency fraud scheme told followers in a video statement that the Lord told him to do it. Don't put that on the Lord, man. Most times, my thoughts ain't your thoughts, man, you greedy, dumb dog. Eli Regalado and his wife marketed their cryptocurrency, INDX coin, to Christian communities in Denver, saying God told him people will become wealthy if they invested. See that prosperity doctrine, how dangerous it is? People sitting up here, didn't Yahweh say, don't set your treasures upon earth where dust and moth doth corrupt? He tell them, no, yeah, invest. God wants you to, get money. God's going to take care of you. Wealthy if they invested. The Colorado Division of Security said in a statement Thursday, INDX coin raised nearly 3.2 million. The securities division said at least 1.3 million of that went directly to the regulados or was, quote, used for their own personal benefit. Greedy dog. But our people still going to be catering to these pastors, man. Look at it. Report on sex abuse in Germany. Protestant church documents at least 2,225 victims. So we already know that the Catholic Church in Germany had massive amounts of pedophilia going on. I forgot, it was definitely in the thousands. The Catholic Church in Germany got busted. Now the Protestant church got a history of sex abuse. You know, 9 times out of 10 they're abusing their own people, but it is what it is. Many of our people are still holding fast to Protestant doctrine. You understand what I'm saying? So there we see that. Continuing on, robotic priests. AI cults in the Bible by ChatGPT. Why people around the world are worshiping robots and artificial intelligence. Well, didn't we hear that? People are worshiping what? The creature more than the creator. In Romans 1. Let's start here. 1:22 says, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man and the birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. So we're seeing all throughout the history of Israel, man, from our Hellenistic age all the way till now, people are creating gods out of what they want. Now you got ChatGPT is becoming the god of many in this particular generation of people buying into technology and AI, being the supreme source of information and knowledge. So they've changed the glory of the uncorruptible power into an image made like the corruptible man. People still bowing down to images of Caesar Borgia. People are still out there getting tattoos of him and candles and, you know, rear view mirror signatures hanging off and, you know, corruptible man and the birds, four-footed beasts, praising and honoring idols and statues and worshiping of animals and nature and all the other stuff. What the Most High do? Wherefore the Most High gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts and to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. So when we see headlines like this is part of this understanding too. People are going to be serving the creature more than the creator. When you're talking about the beast system, you're talking about the image that's created after the beast, Revelation 13, all that. This all is an amalgamation of these things coming into play. New doctrines coming up, world religions coming up, people buying into the technology more than the ways of the ancients. Remember, that's why the Most High told us in Jeremiah 6:16, seek ye out the old paths, the ancient ways. Job 8:8 tells us to seek the ways of our ancients and our forefathers. We've been reminded about that all the time. But here is the new wave. They're going to make a new Bible with ChatGPT. They got AI cults. People worshiping damn robots and AI now. Unbelievable. If y'all remember, man, maybe about 3-4 months ago, I did a DSTM and there was a Edomite pastor out of Texas that had ChatGPT do his sermon for him. And he went out there and tried to say, he said it wasn't received right. You know, the people really wasn't feeling it. But I saw you these lazy, greedy, dumb dog pastors using ChatGPT to do a damn sermon and give him a breakdown. Unbelievable. People around the world are turning to machines as new religion. 6-foot robot priests are delivering sermons and conducting funerals. AI is writing Bible verses, and ChatGPT is being consulted as if it was an oracle. Some religious organizations, like the Turing Church, founded in 2011, are based on the notion that AI will put human beings on par with godlike aliens by giving them super intelligence. You know, this is when you get into terms like transhumanism and all of that. And you got churches that's backing this stuff. The personalized, intelligent, seeming response offered by bots such as ChatGPT also luring people to seek meaning from the technology. Lars Holmquist, a professor of design and innovation at Nottingham Trent University. Psychologists have historically proven that humans interpret their interactions with computers like real social relationships. So it's very possible that people are using AI to find meaning and guidance, much like from religious scriptures, even though there may be no actual meaning there. That's the new wave, y'all. That's the new wave. Here we go. No cash accepted signs are bad news for millions of Americans. Backlash building to cashless movement. We must ask ourselves always, not just can we, but should we? Cashless businesses in South Portland come under fire. I mean, these are headlines that I've grasped over the years. See, this was from 2018. This is 2022. This is 2024. But this is becoming more popular. If you see here, it started in 2018, the cashless movement. 2022, still being pushed. Now it's even more being embraced by businesses saying they don't want cash. This is where we're getting more into the understanding that the CBDC, the digital currency, the changing of the guard in regards to payment systems, moving more into this B system, this consolidated way that everybody's going to be able to buy and sell. You understand what I'm saying? This is where it's all leading to. Here's a little chart. It says many of us swipe our credit cards, tap our phones, or insert a debit card to pay without thinking. However, there are at least 6 million people in the US and almost 1.5 billion worldwide who are unbanked. So they're keeping track of how many people do they either have to get rid of or how many people do they have to convince to get on board. So they got 6 million people in the US who still are not attached to a bank. They're using nothing but cash. They're buying these prepaid debit cards to pay for everything, trying not to be tracked and traced, or just don't have access to a bank account, period. And they said they got 1.5 billion worldwide who's unbanked out of 8 billion people. So damn near everybody's on board, right? It says when businesses stop accepting cash, the unbanked are forced to use payment methods like prepaid debit cards. However, these prepaid cards are costly. For example, Walmart, one of the largest U.S. retailers, offers a reloadable basic debit card. The card costs $1 to buy and charges $6 a month for fees, in addition to $3 each time someone wants to load the card with cash at Walmart's registers. Paying a minimum of $10 just to set up a debit card for a few purchases is a steep price. So you see what they're doing. They're adding all of these particular fees on it. You saying, well, I'm going to keep using these debit cards. I'm backing out. They ain't going to give me. But when they start telling you, hey, it's $50 to use this card just for you to put money on it, we're going to need more money with more fees. They're trying to buckle and break people to say, well, damn, all right, fine. Let me just get you. Let me get into the system. See, this overall, the World Bank estimates about 1/4 of the world's adults don't have access to a bank or mobile phone account, but varies dramatically by region. In countries that use the euro, almost everyone has a bank account, while the Middle East and North Africa, only about half of the population does. So look where the problem companies are. In the European areas, damn near everybody's on board. North America, damn near everybody's on board. They don't have a lot that's not on board. East Asia and the Pacific, next. The global average, 24%. Latin America and the Caribbean. Sub-Saharan Africa and the Middle East and North Africa are the biggest problems of where they need to get people on board with the system. So you wonder why the Middle East is, going to war, why they're having all these particular transformative things happening over there, i.e. The BRICS, or, dealing with America being a reserve currency, which they're going to switch over to a digital system. So they're jockeying for position. That's why in Africa, that's why they're being raided and they're being exploited because they want them on board. You understand? So pushing towards that is really what's going down. Just to stay aware. One last thing of information, man. A huge data leak dubbed the mother of all breaches. They're calling that Moab. a mother of all breaches. MOAB. Moab. The big hack, right? Mother of all breaches. They got Moab called the mother of all bombs as well. Moab is always being used as an acronym for some sort of destruction. Huge data leak, dubbed the mother of all breaches, sees 26 billion records leaked from sites including Twitter, LinkedIn, and Dropbox. Here's how they check. Here's how to check to see if you've been affected. I don't know if you've got any of these particular online services or whatnot. If you use Twitter, Dropbox, or LinkedIn, just know that 26 billion records got leaked on there. Information compromised, right? So, but what else is new? We've been talking about cyber attack, cybersecurity attack. That's been another thing that they've been talking about over this year. Just from the Don't Look Behind or whatever. I don't know. That movie was trending so fast, and I forgot the name of it. That's how fast things is moving, but I believe that was the name of it. The Netflix movie that everybody's watching about the cyber attack. Let's not forget about that. So here comes another cyber attack that got hit. So anybody that's using LinkedIn, Dropbox, Twitter, make sure your information is secure. There's information over here how to see if your information was leaked. I'm not going to go over it just for time's sake. You can either screenshot this, maybe check it out if you're concerned, or go back, double back on the video, or just do a little bit of research regarding this particular data breach. Because I know a lot of people use LinkedIn for their resume and employment or whatnot and networking. A lot of people on Twitter got Twitter accounts. I don't have one, but a lot of people use those things. So who knows? All right, just be aware out there. All right. So that's where we're at, y'all. That's where we're at, man. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, IQAhmath, man. Wanted to give a shout out to everybody, man, that tapped in today and got some up-to-date information, man, here at DSTM. We'll be having closing Sabbath here with Messengers of the Covenant at 3:15 Pacific Standard Time, man. Tap in with us, close out the Shabbat with us. And if you are able, tune in live. If not, tune in after the fact. One way or the other, man, tune in. All right. Hosea, shalom, Mike. Shalom, Mike. Shalom to you. Brother Joshua, shalom to you. I can see y'all on here. All praises, man. The brethren down there in Jamaica, man, in the UK. Hopefully y'all are well. All right. But I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here, man. Get prepared for the next go round in a couple hours. All right. Y'all be well, man. Stay locked in, stay focused, man. Stay aware, but always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, and don't shoot the messenger.